Hi guys, it's Dr. Brooke Kolisiak here from Legacy Physical Therapy. Thought I'd do something a little bit different today. It is a beautiful day outside, so I thought I would get outside and take a little walk in between patients so that I could get a little exercise in. And I thought that it would be a good idea to share some information about walking with you because lately I've heard a lot of people kind of discount that as a form of exercise. And I wanted to let you know that it's a great way to get some exercise in. And there's many different health benefits to it. So I wanted to share that a little bit with you. All right, what are some of the benefits of exercise? So helps improve our cardiovascular endurance, so our aerobic capacity, ability to kind of tolerate activities for longer. It can improve our heart health. It can help us control and lower blood pressure and our cholesterol. It can help us control diabetes if we're having that. It can be a way to help prevent us from getting diabetes. It helps to improve bone density. So if you're at risk for osteoporosis, it can be a great way to help you improve that bone density and kind of stave off potentially having to go on osteoporosis medications. What else? Walking is great for your mood, so it helps improve, especially if you're getting out into nature, and that it helps you as a stress reducer. And if you're going out alone, it's kind of a nice little quiet time. So good news is that it's pretty easy to do. You know, literally put shoes on, head out the door, and get walking. So there's not a lot of tools and tips and that are needed to be able to be successful at it. Just a nice pair of shoes is definitely in the cards for people. If you have not bought a pair of walking or gym shoes for a while and you're going to be starting up a pretty serious walking program, you probably want to invest in a new pair. And I recommend going to a local running and fitness store to be fitted for them. Here locally in St. Louis, we have a bunch of great options. Fleet Feet, Big River Running are two that I've gone to frequently that do good work. So you don't just want to pick the shoe for the color. You definitely want to make sure that you've got the proper fit and you've got good support in there. So especially if your shoes are over a year old, you definitely want to look into getting a new one. I recommend basing it off of mileage versus time, especially if you are using the shoes every day. You want to make sure that you are replacing the shoes more frequently than you probably want to be. But that support really does make a difference. So don't be stingy on getting yourself a nice comfortable pair of shoes, especially if you're going to be trying to walk on a regular basis. So what should you strive for? If you've never really been active, you might have to start pretty low level and getting out there for a walk for 5, maybe 10 minutes and see how you're doing with it. If you have been more active and doing other forms of activity, then strive for doing a 30 to 45 minute walk on at least 2 to 3 times a week, but on a daily basis is awesome. If you simply made the change of doing a 30-minute walk every day for the next year and you didn't change any other habits, you would burn enough extra calories to take off 18 pounds. So if that's all you can change, that's a great, easy way to start losing some weight and get the other benefits of, being active and getting out there and walking. So I work with a lot of moms with new babies or little kids, and a lot of times they are apprehensive to getting out there and getting walking just because it's tough to kind of get everyone going. Hopefully now in St. Louis the weather is starting to take a turn for the better and you can get out and get the kids in a stroller and be active that way. But if it is a bad weather day, go into your grocery store, go into your Target, the mall. I know it's dangerous. You might end up buying stuff that you don't need. But going someplace and walking indoor is a good thing as well. And, so if you have to go to the grocery store, walk all the aisles of the grocery store before you even put an item in your cart. So that would be a great way to get some extra steps in that way. But I prefer to walk outside when the weather permits. That's why I'm out here right now. Hopefully it'll stay nice enough. Looks like it's getting a little cloudy. But when you are going out walking, if you are going to have your kids with you and you're pushing a stroller, a couple of things to think about is keep the stroller close to you. They call it belly up to the bar. Basically, that we want to make sure that you are standing upright and that there's not a big lean forward. The tendency, especially if you're going uphill, is to get a big lean into it. But we want to make sure that we're up close to the stroller and that we're walking at a pace where we can continue to talk. So you might hear me that I'm getting a little bit breathless right now as I'm walking around and talking to you. But ideally, I should be able to hold a conversation. Okay, if someone asks me a question, I should be able to answer that question and feel like I can keep walking and moving around. So if I feel like I have to stop or take extra breaths in that to try and be able to answer their question, I might be going at a little bit too high of a level for me right now. So I want to change it up and maybe slow it down a little bit. Same thing goes when we're pushing the stroller or not, so that we've got that extra, weight that we're pushing around with the kids in the stroller. You may find that your pace is a little bit slower if you can't keep up with having a conversation while you're walking. So those are a couple of things I'm thinking of. So stay close to the stroller. Make sure you're walking at a pace where you can hold a conversation. Another thing, this is a great time to practice your breathing and to practice activating those deep abdominal muscles. So remember, in past videos we've talked about trying to engage our core muscles. So doing a nice little inhale and then exhale and gently pull your belly button in away from your pants. Even kind of engage your pelvic floor muscles a little bit and try and walk for 15-20 seconds like that, kind of holding the contraction, and then let it go and then try again. So that's a great time to fit in doing a little bit of core and pelvic floor work in a nice functional upright position. So if you're wondering, when am I going to fit in all of these core exercises? Multitask it. Do it while you're walking. So that's a nice way to do it. Check your posture first beforehand. You want to make sure that your rib cage is right over your pelvis. We're up nice and tall. We're not kind of slumping into things, and so that we're nice and supported, and we're working our core support canister in a good fashion versus it being kind of loaded in a funky way. So that's a nice way that we can kind of get a bunch of things accomplished all with the walking at one time. So to recap, get out there and walk. It's a great form of exercise, has many health benefits, and if you're having any aches and pains or problems that seem to be preventing you from walking, partner up with a physical therapist here to kind of figure out what's going on and to help you get back to a workout program or walking program that works for you. Because the last thing I want is an injury or an ache and a pain to prevent you from getting out there and being active, because there's so many benefits to being active.